So, Nicole, we're going to start doing this just as a fact-finding mission to work out what people should be doing when they're setting up an account to sell on Amazon. So basically, I'm Tally. I don't have an account. I'm not selling on Amazon. What would be the very first thing that I should do?
The very first thing is planning. I speak to many people who, when I ask, well, what's your long-term plan? Haven't got one. What's your short-term plan? Haven't got one. Have you started a journal? No. Do you know how much money you have to spend on products? No. It sounds like most people do not put a plan in motion from the off, and that is therefore the first step you've got to take.
Brilliant. So, I mean, one of the first things you said to me is to define whether is this a business or not. So we need to know whether you're doing this just as a hobby, or whether you actually seriously want to make some money out of it.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, it doesn't matter if you want to just do this on a part-time basis, or whether you want to do it full-time, or if you want to dedicate just a few hours a week, a few days a week, or perhaps not even do it for a month. There are so many different options you have to using the FBA platform. Of course, later on down the road, we will discuss about outsourcing. But at this stage, you have to probably start small rather than large. Far too many people try and get to the end resolution as opposed to starting from the beginning.
All right, then. So I've decided I want to sell on Amazon because I need a second income. So I have an Amazon account which I buy from. Is that enough? What do I need to do?
Well, it's optional, to be honest with you. I always say to my coaching clients, best to separate. In other words, open a seller's account. Reason? First of all, if you do open a seller's account, the differential here is that you will need a separate email address. So you will need a different email address to your buying account. The reasons why I say it's beneficial to separate, because if you should be going into this with a business mindset, then when it comes to your audits and those sort of purposes, then it's definitely easier to keep it in a separate account.
But that makes a lot of sense, because the last thing I want to do is get the two confused, and then I'm in a total mess. So basically...
Can I further extend on that?
Yeah.
Also, further down the line, you will want to buy from your Amazon buyer's account.
Wow, okay.
You can do that in sourcing products, but again, there is the rule, you cannot have a Prime account attached to it.
Okay, so what you're saying is that from my current account at the moment, I can buy from that and then sell from my other account. Is that what you're saying?
Yes, you can. But as I say, you cannot have any word of Prime attached to that account.
Excellent. Okay. So if I have a Gmail address, and that's my primary, what I'm buying from now, so my current address is a Gmail. So if I set up, say, a Yahoo account as my selling
Correct.
account.
Yes, you can do that.
So that would be a good option.
I would also stipulate, you may hear along the way that I've got more than one account. Just to warn you, Amazon do not approve of that.
Okay. Why?
Because if you were to open so many different accounts, then of course it's just for identification more than anything else.
Yes. Stops you from fiddling.
Yes, correct.
Yeah,
and you can do multiple listings when you shouldn't be. You should be actually all listings really should be merged together.
Okay. So you were going to show me now on my account where to look for some information.
Okay.
So if you could just log in now
Sure.
and go through what you were going to show me.
Right. This is your...
My normal, but unfortunately it's Prime, so I will get another account.
Okay.
Hopefully my account will run out soon. So.
Okay. Okay. I mean, I have an affiliate marketing, which is separate.
So have I.
So you can use that account to buy products.
I've not done. You know what? Isn't that ridiculous? I wonder how many of us who were originally in internet marketing have got that but haven't twigged that they should be buying from that.
And of course, you can earn money from that.
Exactly. Why did I not think of that?
Well, many people don't.
No.
Right, so now you want to start selling on Amazon, so you click onto this. Hopefully it will go to the next page.
It will. That's going, it's just thinking.
Okay. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah, no, it's slow.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, so what you now need to do is, you come into here, how to sell on Amazon. So how it works, features, fulfillment by Amazon is what you're interested in doing.
So what does that mean?
Right, there's a very long answer to that, but the long run is that you're allowing Amazon to take over and do have many benefits which you wouldn't have on what's called an individual account necessarily, because on an individual account you can have that set up as a merchant fulfilled account.
Nicole, we were talking that it's quite complicated and quite scary when you're opening an account, because when I hear the word pro or professional or business, it scares me thinking that it's going to cost me a fortune and I'm committing to something that I don't want. I have decided that yes, I want this to be a proper business, because I did exactly what you said before, is sit down and decide whether I wanted to just play around or whether I wanted to seriously take this as a business.
Okay.
So now you've taken us to this page. Now, what are the different accounts? What levels? Where do you begin? I know it's a huge subject, but tell me about the different accounts.
Okay, you have first of all what's called an individual account. On the individual account, it's generally for people that are really selling off used products, second-hand products. Amazon say not to make a profit. Try and work that one out. A bit hard.
Well, we came to the conclusion it's possibly charity.
Yes, that is correct. That it probably is for that reason, and therefore VAT might not necessarily come into play.
Threshold.
Yes, correct.
Yes.
At the same time, also those personnel may want to not stock their products in the fulfillment centre, and they may want to send the products directly from their home, or maybe even from a third-party warehouse, or direct from the supplier or whatever. So therefore, that is when you would have that system.
So basically, it's when you do everything yourself.
Correct.
Including dealing with irate customers.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. And this is why I say to most people, I recommend highly that you go with a professional account. You can be an individual seller,
yes,
and have a professional account whereby a lot of the work is taken off you, in that Amazon will actually look after your customers, they will stock your product, and they will have the hassle, if you like, of dealing with irate customers, which will happen from time to time. You might be unfortunate and even have it on your first product that you've sold. So therefore, you want that taken off your mind, and you would want them to deal with that.
Yeah. But that word professional already scares me.
Yes, I'm sure.
So, cost-wise?
Cost-wise, we're looking at £25 per month plus VAT. However, I would stress again that if you're based here in the UK, I'm not quite sure if the same applies in Europe, but I assume it probably does. You have it free for the first 3 months of after you've actually signed up.
It says so on here.
Okay.
So you're right. Yes, it does. Yeah.
3 months free subscription.
Perfect.
Right.
Absolutely perfect.
So if you want to keep with just the UK, then obviously you would not say you want to sell in all the 5 European marketplaces, which has changed. From the day when I signed up, we didn't have this option at all. We had to actually physically go to a drop down and apply, and it wasn't so easy from the word go to sell in the 5 marketplaces. Do I recommend people to do this in the beginning? Questionable. I personally think I prefer slow build. I think it's far better, especially if you don't know what you're doing. Learn the tricks of the trade first in how to use...
And is it easy then to afterwards say, yes, I want to do it?
Yes, very much so. What would then happen is, well, it would depend actually. I will rephrase that. If you are a sole proprietor, you will need to be verified. What do I mean by verification? You will need to register your company with HMRC first of all.
Okay. Well, let's get to that in a second, because we're still on an individual.
Okay, so for an individual account, you basically will be selling products probably on a low number. You would probably sell no more than perhaps 10, 20 products that might be scattered around your house, which are unused. I would recommend unused products, so perhaps that unwanted gift that's still in its cellophane wrapping, or something that looks new, which hasn't been used within reason. Then you can list that product to start off with and test it. I do feel, though, that a professional account should be bought in from the off. I really do.
I think it saves money. And
yes, it does, because
to track each product.
Absolutely.
I think it would be an absolute nightmare.
Absolutely, because I believe it's 40 or 45p a product that you upload.
Well, it would take you long to get to your £25 threshold.
Absolutely. Exactly. And then, of course, within that cost, you have Amazon covering your storage. And also, of course, they would then deal with the irate customer we were talking about before, and they would get your product shipped out. Yes. And to be honest with you, it further extends to the actual listing of your product, which we will cover more in depth further down. But of course, it pushes you up above the merchant fulfilled sellers, the people that aren't signed up with FBA.
And one of the things that we've got to remember is how much space have you got in your house?
Absolutely. Yeah.
Just the fundamentals,
yes.
the basics.
It further extends. I mean, you've probably seen on within groups or forums whereby everybody asks, well, what's the best printer to start off with? Who should I go for my stationery? Should I buy polybags? Initially, I would say to those people, yes, so that you understand it. Not a necessity, but you have to also be aware that is an additional cost that Amazon will charge you should a product need to be polybagged. Or if you haven't labelled correctly, which is a further subject. We will discuss that about the commingling.
A separate chat about and show examples at a later date. So that's fine. So basically, just to boil it down before we stop and move on to the next section, is so opening an individual account is for people who...
It's for people that want instant action. It's for those people that I recommend to take action as soon as you can. Or able.
So selling stuff around the house.
Yeah. Go with an individual account, have a professional account, and then if you feel, wow, I've sold some products, the next step then is go for being a sole proprietor. But be warned. There is a backlog at the moment for verification reasons. Amazon have had to review their tax implications of late, so therefore they want to take each step correctly. There may be a delay. I do know it's running between anything from a month to 3 months that people are being verified for different reasons, so make sure you've got all your legal documents in place so that you can upload that to Amazon, and then it will be certainly very time-saving if you do that.
Why should I go for a pro account?
If I'm really honest, most people will procrastinate in the beginning, and it gives you a kick in the backside to really get on and sell your 34 plus products, which is what you require to do if you have a professional account. Now, as I said before, the professional account will cost you £25 per month plus VAT. And at least then, and of course you have the 3 months free in the beginning anyway, and it will make you more disciplined in finding those goodies that you want to sell.
So that's 34 different products?
Yes.
Okay.
It could be from the same SKU even. It doesn't necessarily have to be the 34.
So if I was selling something, say, of one colour, say, I don't know, a spatula that's that's black, and if I then had a spatula that was red and green,
Yes.
does that? Where does my
Yes,
where
but
does
then
my-
we're going into a whole different ball game here, because it's
Okay.
not something I would recommend you to do in the beginning anyway. I would
Okay.
recommend you to go wide and low in stock
So
numbers.
what do you mean by wide and low?
Well, what I mean by that is different number of SKUs in low quantity. In other words, buy 1, 2, 3, no more than 4 at a time.
For different types of products?
No, of the same SKU number. In other words, let's say if you saw a board game like, I don't know, Snakes and Ladders, and that particular Snakes and Ladders has a good number, or you've got it at an exceptionally low price, then yes, probably I would buy that more than the single item. You would buy 4 of those. However, I do, and I will stipulate this stronger, in the beginning, you are learning what works for you, what niche that you like or enjoy, or even if you like, become the pro in. Your knowledge will grow as you go along from your research. So, generally speaking, I can hear a duck behind me.
No, it's chickens.
It's chicken, okay. I would say to you that, in the beginning, start off on your first month, hit your target of 34 items.
So 34, let's say, for example, just to clarify again, so if I was selling
Different products.
types of products.
From different
so if
niches. It could be all from the toy niche
But
if you like. But
is it 34 products in total or 34 lines of product?
34 lines of product.
34 lines of product. So I could
Okay.
have
In other
several in
words,
each line.
yes, okay.
That makes sense.
Yes.
Now. I understand.
It actually applies to even those sellers who have been doing this for a long time. Most will tell you, certainly on arbitrage, that you should buy low, go wide. And that basically means that you buy low quantity, but different products.
Okay. Give me an example.
Well, for example, if I saw a toy product I like the Frozen doll, Elsa doll, we'll go with that because it's on mine.
It's very
Yes.
topical.
Now, there's a particular Elsa doll that I've seen. I probably have seen it in a store, and it's selling for a low price of $9.99. On Amazon, it will be selling at a price of around $22.99. Would I buy that? Yes, I would. Then I would see along it a jigsaw puzzle, for example, a very sought after jigsaw puzzle. It might be themed again in the Frozen. I would then call that's a different SKU. So then I would buy maybe only one of those to test it. The price might not be as good. So the way of doing this is to test what will move and what will not. Again, we will discuss further down the road how you can define what is a good product to find. So going back to what we're just talking about right now, I would certainly start off with a pro account, which is a monthly subscription fee. It covers all your referral fees and your variable closing fees. It also, as I said before, it would mean that you would get into that buy box far easier if you have what's called a fulfillment by Amazon account as well. And basically, Amazon will look after your customers, they will store your product, and they will ship your product out from the warehouse to the final destination of your customer. The only cost, though, which does apply, you are still responsible for the costs from the UPS, who are the partnered shipping company that Amazon use. You can...
How do they charge you?
It automatically comes up at the end of your shipping plan.
Okay.
You have the option to cancel within 24 hours should you not wish to go ahead. As a ballpark figure, one box usually weighs, let's say if it's from a kilogram to about 5 or 6 kilograms, will probably cost you no more than £5.8p on today's date. We'll go into shipping and costs on those further down as well. I want to just really say, at this early stage, what you should also be aware of, if you have that professional account, if you sell FBA, Amazon will give you, as a seller, they will prioritize you up that list to get into the buy box.
And why is that?
Well, because you really are a selected partner of
So
Amazon.
actually, what
You
is-
are actually sourcing the products for Amazon. A lot of
Define
people.
FBA.
Okay, I will. Let me just finish what I was about to say. A lot of people don't get it in that if Amazon are in the buy box, they immediately avoid listing on that listing. They feel that Amazon are in control and that you just won't have a chance of selling the same product. That is utter rubbish in 9 times out of 10. It is when you should list a product, it will show that it's a seller. It will be moving. Amazon may well even be in stock. They want to encourage you as a seller. They will put you in the buy box, sometimes for no reason at all. You could even have a price higher than another FBA seller, still being in the buy box. So the algorithms of FBA and Amazon as a whole, if truth be told, not many people really understand it.
Okay.
But this is why the benefit, you're cutting out one hurdle, if you
Yeah.
like, by being a pro seller and using the FBA system. You were going to ask me about
Yeah,
what is...
so define FBA. We haven't even done that. What does FBA stand for?
FBA means Fulfillment by Amazon. Fulfillment by Amazon means literally as it defines. Amazon will fulfill your product. So you have to assemble a box of goodies, so products that you've sourced either from home or low-costing products in the beginning that you will have encountered through either the plugins, which we will cover later, or just a price comparison site, or just flicking from Amazon to a retailer to compare the prices. You may well find that today we are actually recording in the middle of the summer, and of course it's high time for summer sales. So often, due to overstocks and also the retailers wanting to make room for the forthcoming Christmas season, you will get a goodie. You will get something that will be priced lower than what Amazon perhaps have actually attained the product. And Amazon will no doubt go out of stock, most certainly in Q4. That does happen in Q4, which we will again extend on further down the road. But in the beginning, what I'm saying to you, do not, and I will re-stress this, do not buy a product because Amazon are selling it. The biggest thing that the people you are actually against is the other FBA sellers. That is your competition, not the merchant fulfilled. And Amazon, yes, you are, because they can dominate that buy box for months sometimes, but eventually they too may have problems in restocking, and the most likely time is when there is an actual season of sorts. So even back to school, which is forthcoming, they may have a certain SKU number of a pencil case, and because of the high demand on that product, they will go out of stock. So who then gets the...
Yeah, and I can see the advantage of being a small individual. You can move faster. If you see something when you're out shopping, you see something here and there, when you hear something, you can buy it. Whereas Amazon, because it's a huge engine, huge machine, they can't do it as like we can.
They are doing the marketing for that product naturally
So
already through the search. It's all done for you. So if you're going for that high branded product that's already known, it might be a household name which is already known, that is already half your battle.
Yes.
You hear about people who like to do their own products and private label products. That is a disadvantage.
That's a really hard angle or avenue to go by, because you're literally starting from scratch. Amazon have done everything for you, the marketing, the sourcing, the everything. But for me, it's a bit mind-boggling why somebody who has no experience goes straight into something which is quite complicated, really.
It's almost laughable, unfortunately.
Well,
it's you know, it's sad as well. I want to stress that I am a fan of private label because it's opportunity. I'm the first to say that it's a great opportunity, but only at the right time.
But can you imagine if it was that easy? Because I've worked for large corporates and for a long time. When a new product is being introduced, it takes months, if not years, of research, customer research, all of this kind of stuff before it even goes out. But now,
and of course the product itself, you may have it samples sent to you which are in fine nick.
yes,
Then you get your stock of products. They may not have the same measurement as the original,
yes.
and then unfortunately, and I've seen it happen, people lose their accounts because they haven't really taken or wouldn't even have the know-how of testing a product thoroughly to the degree once you have to market it and sell it to the customers.
Yeah.
They're left holding a baby
Yeah.
that they don't want to be left holding, and of course with a lot of resources not well spent.
It sounds like it's a lot of potluck involved in
Yes,
this.
it is.
But I think this is a complete video and audio in itself, and I think we will return to that because
for sure.
I can see so many people who are dazzled by the thought of selling their own product and being told how easy it is
Of
to
course,
source
it's a
something.
shiny object to
It
a
is.
degree.
But if you've not got negotiation skills, if you don't understand, because predominantly you'll be buying from the Asian markets, and it's a different mindset. So to try and negotiate with people from China,
you have to learn how to do that.
it's a big skill. It's a very big skill to
Yes.
get the best price. It's not easy. So you could lose a lot of money very quickly because the outlay, I can imagine, is quite big. But let's talk about that in the next video.
Well, actually, you raised a very good point. You said at the beginning of this particular video that people are frightened of opening a professional account.
Yes.
People should be more frightened about finding products in the
Yes.
Far East and trying to bring them over here
Yes.
without a clue of knowing how to run the product on Amazon first.
Exactly. No, that makes a lot of sense.
Okay.
So we're talking about the different types of accounts, and we've gone through. So we were talking about FBA.
Mm-hmm.
Is there anything else that we need to say about FBA?
Just really that the benefits of having a professional account, which brings in FBA, is that often you will have files which you will need to upload and download. They're called flat files. By having the professional account, you will have the accessibility to all files within the Amazon back room. The other, and this is a very big point by recommending a professional account. Say if you bypass arbitrage and even found a wholesaler, there's a product you want to sell, and it happens to be in apparel or clothing. Well, you would have to get ungated in that category. It's a restricted category.
But that was something that I was going to.
Well, we will cover it for.
Can I sell anything? So if I I've got like some baby clothes I want to sell.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some kitchen items.
Mm-hmm.
I've got some cosmetics that I managed to get really cheaply. Can I sell those?
The only one is kitchen items.
That's the only one I can sell.
That's the only one out of the first three you mentioned. Now, if you have a professional account, there is on the Amazon website, we will get the page up for you, or we will in fact show you the list of items which are categorized as restricted items. In order to become have the access to selling products in a gated category, in a restricted category, you have to have a professional account. Now, we will go into that more in depth, Tally, because it's quite a big subject on its own. But the other important thing from the offset is that most people will say, oh, I've heard about an app that I want to use in my early days of doing arbitrage. Retail arbitrage we're talking about here. You will need to have a professional account so that the APIs can be linked up to your account. What is an API? That is a program which would basically, it's a computer, in simple terms, it's a computer program which will be linked into your site by a code. And therefore, once you have the accessibility to this, you will then be able to buy the apps from Google Play or from Apple, the Apple Store. And you can download these apps. The only free one to date is the Amazon Resellers app, which is a good one for you to start. There is no paid monthly subscription for that. The other two I highly recommend in your early days is one called Profit Bandit, and the other one is Scam Power. Both of those work in UK and Europe.
Are they free?
Scam Power, well, no, they are no. Both Scam Power and Profit Bandit are monthly subscription. From the top of my mind, $9.99 for Profit Bandit. And Scam Power is a bit more complex because there are other programs attached. But it's best for you to really research that. Go to scampower.com and you will then see as to how much that costs.
Okay. But how essential?
The Amazon Resellers app, I'll be honest with you, since I started doing this back in early doors of 2013, there was no Amazon Resellers app. So when I was on the American groups, it was what everybody discussed. You can find the comparison in price on the Amazon Resellers app. And stupidly, well, maybe not so stupidly, I just assumed that the Amazon app, which is a straightforward product app, was what they were referring to. That was wrong. It's only just come into being here in the UK in the last couple of months. I think it was in April. We now have access to here and Europe, whereby you can do a price comparison through your iPhone. You will have, basically, it is a very basic app.
Is that the one where you scan the barcode?
Yes, correct.
Yeah, I've been using that, so
okay.
It's very interesting. Yeah.
Okay, you scan the barcode and in there it will tell you whether you are able to send the product in to be shipped from Amazon. In other words, if you don't have a Pro account, or if the actual manufacturer of the product does not want anybody selling, whether it's an FBA seller or a seller, it will come up as saying that is a restricted category product brand.
Excellent. So that takes out all
That's
the guesswork.
branding, yes.
So you can only get this app if you are a Pro seller.
Correct.
Okay.
Because
so the one I've
any
got is
app,
something else.
any application, it goes further down to when you want to do your financials as well. You might want to do also have a multi-channel fulfillment site that would do all that for you. They have to each get into your back panel, not necessarily to your financials and your private details, but by using the API that will link them to those specific applications.
Interesting. That's excellent. So that makes a lot of sense, and it shows me the advantages.
This is another reason why from the beginning you really need the Pro account, because of course most people want to just test and see for themselves, is this arbitrage business, does it work?
Yeah.
And it is a lot of work as well. I mean, it might take a few products. You might have to go through the whole store and you might not find one.
Yes.
But then on other days you might just go down one column and you might find a dozen different SKUs that work in your favour.
Yeah, but that's just the name of the game.
Business is like that, you know, it's going to be ups and downs.
Exactly. Can you define what the word arbitrage means?
Okay, arbitrage is a Chris Green creation, really. When I say that in our world, it's always been there, the word has always been there. It basically means, it started from money markets as well, I believe, but what it means is that when you buy an item low, but you're selling it high than the marketplace that you are trying to produce the product on. So in other words, if Amazon was selling a product at £20 and you find the product at £4.99, you're going to buy that low, and then if the actual recommended retail prices, which really you should be going by, but people do break that, and I'll explain again for reasons why. But if you were to go to the retail price of $29.99, well, you're making there a huge margin.
But one of the questions that people say to me, but how can that be? Why would somebody buy something if I can get it from Tesco's for £4 and Amazon are selling it for 20? Why would anyone in their right mind buy it from Amazon?
Well, many reasons. Let's start with convenience, time. You may be somebody that's stuck in an office job from 9 to 5. You have a situation at home. Maybe you've got some builders in and you might need a certain plaster that you can't get maybe for 3 days from a retail that's local to you or near your office or whatever. Amazon will have it in stock. As soon as you press the button, it will be with you on your doorstep the following day. Of course, they are actually now looking into even doing same day, but that's further down the road.
Well, what I've noticed is now, because I travel into town quite a lot, say at Paddington Station, they've got that click and collect stuff as well.
Yes, that's
right.
And
I think how fantastic is that? On your way to work or on the way home from work.
Well, that's going back again to our initial of sending in products, because when you are partnered with UPS, which is the carry partner of Amazon, you might not want to sit at home waiting for the UPS guy to come and collect your parcels. So at the same time, you may be going into a job. So you may get up at 5 a.m. in the morning, you do your packing of your boxes, you drop it into a drop-off point, which is here in the UK, you'd be amazed at your local high street, tobacconist or confectionery shop.
My petrol station.
Petrol stations are very common. In the States, they have actual UPS stores, I believe. I think whereas here, they're not as abundant.
I've never seen one.
No, I've never seen one either. But you know, that's convenience. We're using the word convenience again there. So therefore, you can drop it off, but at the same time, you can collect something that perhaps, you know, you had to leave so early in the morning that it couldn't be left through, dropped through your letterbox. And therefore, you have the accessibility to collecting that product on the same day.
Well, I think you've sold the Pro account to me. So other than that, we've mentioned, or in passing, that you do have a sole account and also a business, sole proprietor business. So what we'll do is we'll go
the other reason why I have a sole proprietor account is because I outsource. If you have more than one employee, then it is highly recommendable that you go with a sole proprietor account. If you're a big corporation or if you have quite a few employees, and I'm talking like over the 3 or 4, then there's no doubt, it's a no-brainer, you have to go with a business account. And of course, it depends on your numbers of inventory. If you have already scaled to the degree that you have many wholesale accounts, then of course you have a branded name, then you would go with a professional account. But 9 times out of 10, certainly I would recommend in the beginning, go with a sole proprietor. You can upgrade to a business account.
Excellent. Excellent. Okay, so I think that wraps that one up really nicely.